Welcome back to MurrayMax. We have another Charlie Kirk video. This one's a little bit shorter, just like 3 or 4 minutes. And this one is in regards to the gray area of consent. And before all the trolls rush to the comments, I'm assuming, I haven't watched this yet, but I'm assuming this is talking about, based off what the law says consent is, or maybe even the angles about the way we do things socially, where it's this weird thing where it's like people will claim that it's bad on the man's part if she's had drinks, for example, but they'll also say it's bad on the man's part if the man's had drinks, and they'll also say it's bad on the man's part if they've both had drinks. But it may just be a law thing. I'm not sure. Let's watch this and see what we got going on here, and then feel free to rush to the comments and tell me what you think.
Can I ask?
Really quick, we're running out of time. One last question.
Okay. So aside from DEI, I also wanted to ask you to confirm the murky gray area again with sexual assault. In a previous video, you mentioned that if there was two 19-year-olds, they were drunk, and then...
Yes, if they're intoxicated. So again, no means no, and stop means stop, but you would both agree, if two parties are intoxicated, there's gray area, right?
No, I don't.
Actually, yes, the law says that consent cannot be given or withdrawn if both parties or either party is intoxicated. That's the law. The law here in California is that if one party is intoxicated, it is rape by either the woman or the man. That's gray area. So did you know that if you have sex with an intoxicated person, you're a rapist? Did you know that?
I didn't.
So just to be clear, for all the trolls that love to rush to the comments, he's clearly stating that no means no and stop means stop. But there's a legal aspect to it where it says that any level of intoxication at all means that somebody cannot properly consent. We're not talking about unresponsively blacked out. We're talking about someone that just could possibly be in the same realm of getting a DUI if they were pulled over. Maybe their balance is a little bit off, but you know how it goes.
That's what the law says. That's what I meant by gray area. I encourage people to look into that because when it's past 2 a.m. and both parties are intoxicated, by law, they're actually both committing rape. According to California law and national law in every state, if one or both parties are intoxicated, consent is not a thing. You are not allowed to have sex with that person under that circumstance.
Okay, so then, to you, then it's not a gray area. It's sexual assault by law.
No, I'm not willing to call every single person that's had sex while they're drunk a rapist. Are you?
Well, if the girl is saying no...
They're both intoxicated. So what they say is irrelevant. That's the point.
Why do they always have to flip it? They have to all of a sudden create this hypothetical where it's like, so if she's running for her life and he's chasing her with a chainsaw and she's begging for help, and it's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
And no one wants to talk about this, is that according to the law, intoxication removes consent. Literally, you are not allowed to give, receive, deny, or remove consent if you are intoxicated. So the example that I was giving in that viral clip was very clear. Two people that are intoxicated post 2 a.m., who is right, who is wrong, case-dependent gray area, all while saying under normal circumstances, no mean no and stop means stop. But let me ask you another question. Do you think if two 18-year-olds are sitting on a park bench and the man goes in for a kiss with the girl and it's unwanted, did he commit sexual assault?
Did he ask?
Did the man commit sexual assault to try to kiss a girl?
Did he ask? Did he ask?
So let me be clear. A man has to ask a woman verbally before he has to kiss a girl. Is that your position?
He can either ask or she can make it very known that, like, she backs
How can she
away
make it known? How could?
No, if that's the belief, if the belief is that it's going to be something illegal, I would never roll the dice on just hoping that somebody doesn't want to turn it into something. It's so funny too, because chicks will tell you like, oh, he ruined the moment because he asked. It's like, just do it already. And it's like you get all these mixed messages. And so essentially what I've learned over time is the amount of negative or positive reaction is only based off of how attractive and how desirable the man is. We're not talking about going up to random people on the street. We're talking about like you've been on a date the entire night. It's time to wind the date down. You walk her to the doorstep, or like he said, you're sitting on a park bench. You've already been spending time with this person. And then the same people that will say, just go for it. Just like, I like confidence. I like when a man just like takes charge, all these different things. All of a sudden now it's like, well, she must have been sending body language that does this and that, which can be true. But a lot of times, let's just be real. Chicks are confusing, and you might think that somebody wasn't opposed to it. But a lot of people are so overly polite these days that you can get mixed messages. So that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Without talking, how can she make it known?
She can back away. She can make a face. Same thing if they were drunk. Like,
you want to know why romance has left this country? You have to ask before you kiss somebody on a first date, excuse me, can I kiss you? Really?
I think it'd be kind of romantic.
And just so we're clear, this isn't like, chase them down and force a kiss on them. There has been situations, especially with these crazy kangaroo courts on college campuses and university campuses, where someone goes in for the kiss, the chick stops it, but then goes and makes a formal complaint. The kiss never even happened, but just the fact that he tried to do it. So don't turn this into you're forcing it upon her because, like you said in the beginning, no means no and stop means stop. I mean, but just how do you know unless you have to ask? And if you have to ask, then let's just establish that.
Do you understand?
But either way, I think regardless, there is way to do it non-verbally.
Hold on, non-verbally. So it's like a mind trick?
No,
does that hold up in court non-verbally?
I'm backing up. You keep getting closer. I don't know why.
But hold on. If you do it verbally, stop, don't get near me. I'm talking about two people that are next to a park bench and they're having a good time.
She can scooch.
Oh, she can scooch.
She can scooch
And
away.
the guy goes in for a move. He's a sexual assaulter.
No.
That's what, to be consistent, unwanted kisses, unwanted sexual advance is a sexual assault.
The difference is that one of them is removing consent and the other one didn't even realize that he was asking for consent.
They're having a nice time. He thinks that he's getting the signals. He misreads it. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, we're willing to call that guy at 18 years old a sexual assaulter because he went in for a move?
I'm saying that the difference between that situation and the sexual assault is that she removed consent versus the person who they didn't realize that they were trying to initiate consent.
No, but I'm saying, though, in order for you to be consistent, that has to be sexual assault. And I'm not willing to call the millions of boys across the country going in for their first kiss guilty of sexual assault. I think that's insane.
But you're willing to call it a murky gray area for the men who are drunk and pinning down women even though they're saying no?
I never said that.
Oh, my goodness. That's so ridiculous. As if Charlie Kirk is up here defending men who are drunk and pinning down women. What are you talking about? It's like they have to create these false equivalencies just to pretend like they have an argument because they'll do anything except agree with him. No one is going to, no one who's actually operating in good faith is going to disagree with no means no and stop means stop. No one's going to disagree with that. And that's what he led with from the beginning. But then it turned into, if she's fighting him off and he won't stop. And it's like, do you really think that Charlie Kirk is sitting up here going, if you try to make the moves on somebody and even if they're fighting you off and you it's like, there's no way in hell.
Let's recap. You're not listening. I said no means no, stop means stop, but intoxication, there is no consent. I've said that. And we must be morally clear and legally clear. People don't know that. According to the law, if one or both parties is intoxicated, consent does not exist. We don't teach our kids that. Every time you go to a drunk frat party and someone is intoxicated, woman or man, and they have sex, they are then the victim of rape. I'm not willing to say that 30 million people then commit rape. And yes, that's the point. There's a lot of nuance and case dependency to these issues. And unfortunately, I don't think you meant to. You've exhibited why young men are moving right so dramatically because they don't want to be called rapists at every turn because they made one unwanted advance to a woman at a party. Thank you very much.
And that is 100% true. And the mental gymnastics that they have to go through just for the sake of disagreeing with everything. I mean, it's like, I can't help but feel like the conservative parties don't do that. I mean, of course, you can find cases of that, but it's like across the board where somebody who's conservative can say something so blatant and obvious, and it gets turned into something that's just absurd. He was so clear over and over again about how the law states that, and I'm not about to just accuse everybody who's had some drinks. And then, sometimes if you haven't looked it up, look up the college campus situation with someone that called themselves, quote, mattress girl. Look up that and just the terrible things that happened around that. The way that they basically just got their torches and pitchforks and tried to ruin this guy's life. And even though the text messages showed that she was the aggressor and she was the one inviting it and stuff like that, just because she went and said, as part of this whole thing of, believe all of one side only and stuff, and it was a joke. But anyways, let me know in the comments what you think of this stuff, and I'm going to keep pumping out some videos. Thanks for tuning in to MurrayMax.